So what's an ideal model for a community arts program? Community arts program means that there's change that happens on 3 levels. So we can talk about social justice, we can talk about what that change is. But 3 levels of change. There's 3 levels of change in that the people that you're working with directly, there's a change that happens there. We're not talking about art therapy, but we're talking about the ability to express oneself and the ability to give voice to whatever creative expression they have, and voice to what their issues are and what they care about. So there's the change that happens on a personal level. What also happens is a second level, and that second level is in the organization itself. Where does the change happen within the organization with which you are working? Whether that's the community center, the church, the rape crisis center, whether it's the food pantry, wherever it is that you're working, the homeless shelter, where is there the change within that organization? Because the use of art and the art happening within that organization will change that organization. And that organization needs to be prepared for that change. Now usually that change is incredibly positive. Tom Burnham, who Janie works with at Peter and Paul Homeless Shelter, at the transition program, one of the things, Tom is the case manager, and one of the things he says is that when he sits down with the men to create the work, he succeeds and fails with them. So he is the caseworker, learns so much more about the men that he works with than he would ever, just by being the nag who is always saying, are you sober, did you get a job, what happened, what happened, what happened. So making art, creating art together, created a change within Peter and Paul. It's now permeated their organization. The third level of change is the community itself. What happens usually with our community arts programs is that there's some kind of public level. There's an exhibition, there's a performance, there's, I don't know, all kinds of stuff. Music, things that happen within the community. How many people know here what it means to fly a sign? Thought so. Yeah, you do. Flying a sign is when you see a homeless person standing by the side of the road, and I know there's homeless people on the corner of Forest Park and Stinker every week, and they've got that cardboard sign that says, I will work for food, I am a homeless veteran, I have children I cannot feed. That means that's flying a sign. And the reason I know that is that I was privy to some art that the men in transition made at Peter and Paul. I now look at those people completely differently than I ever looked at them before. And that's a community change. And that's really, really important. So one of the things Emily asked me to do so that we have a context for this conversation is to define what community art is. And that's, there's no way you can do that. But I want you to remember those 3 levels, because successful, sustainable community arts happen with those 3 levels and with cooperation, respect, and partnership. But here's Arlene Goldberg is a person who writes a lot about community arts. And one of the things she says is community arts practice is based on the belief that cultural meaning, expression, and creativity reside within a community, that the community artist's task is to assist people in freeing their imaginations and giving form to their creativity. It is never an artist going into community and saying, I am giving you this. I am the great hope. I am any of those things. That is not how that works. What the artist's task is to work within a community and bring out the creativity within that community and help people give voice to whatever it is that they want to give voice to. Whether it's social justice, whether it's we are here, whether we need better schools, whatever the thing is that they need to express. The artist's task is to help them do that, not to tell them how to do that. Does that make sense? So I have the privilege today of being with all of you. I'm going to pass this around. I hope I brought enough. If I didn't, I can always send more. This is just some basic information about the Community Arts Training Institute. The other thing is that we are very privileged for the first time to be able to do through a grant a convening, a small conference here in March called At the Crossroads Community Arts and Development Convening. And so if you'd like more information, you can go to our website for that information. We'll be looking for volunteers. So if any of you are willing to volunteer to help out with that, there'll be about 150 people from around the country to talk about community arts and what that means.